Today in chemistry, we are going to look at more of section 1.1, points, lines, and planes. So if you look at, we have these first two pictures. The first picture is of the two lines crossing, and it simply asks, are all of these listed opposite rays? Why or why not? So we look at the first one, ray JF and ray JE. Okay? We see JF and JE. Are they opposite rays? Yes. And then we have to say why. Remember, now we're just looking at the definition. What is an opposite ray? Common endpoint, and they go in the opposite direction. So that is why. Yes, because they have a common endpoint and opposite direction. So then we go to ray JG and ray JH. JG is this way, JH. They both start at J. So yes, again, the reason common endpoint and opposite direction. Then we go to ray FJ and ray EJ. I don't even have to look at the picture because F and E are not the same, so no, because no common endpoint. Then the next one, ray GJ and ray HJ. Again, G and H, they don't have the same starting point, so it is no, again, no common endpoint. And finally, ray JG and ray JE. They both start at J, but this is JG, this is JE. They have a common endpoint, but they do not go in opposite directions. So no, they are not opposite rays. Not opposite direction is our reason. So hopefully that is a great clarification of opposite rays. Now we want to look at the next picture. We have a plane with a line inside of it and a line going through it, which is like our paper with a pencil going through it. We want two other names for line QP. The most obvious is just switch the direction and call it line PQ. So then I look at this line and I notice there are no other points on that line. So I cannot name it with points. Remember, another way we can name a line is with the lowercase letter. So I would write out line N because N is next to that. So in this picture, R, M, and N are not points because they don't have dots, and N and M are lowercase, and all points must be in uppercase. The next one, another name for plane R. So I need to write out the word plane. So now I'm looking at inside R that has been drawn for us. We need 3 points that are not on the same line. So lots of possible choices. One possible is plane VST. We could have done plane VPT. We could have done VPS. Any two on this line, and then the V included in any order. 3 collinear points. They have to all 3 be on the same line. The only option is point S, point P, and point T, making sure that we don't forget the notation. The next one, points S, P, and Q are coplanar. Right? S, P, and Q. This is one of those tricky ones. They're not all written or drawn in the plane that has been drawn for me. But remember that the definition of a plane, any 3 points that are not collinear make up a plane and therefore are coplanar. So S, P, and Q, they're not all 3 on the same line. So yes, they are coplanar because 3 non-collinear points make a plane. And then the next one, points S and V. Again, I don't even have to look at the picture because they just gave me 2 points and asked me collinear. The definition of a line is any 2 points. So again, this is a yes because 2 points always collinear. And if I look at the picture, there's not a line drawn between S and V, but I could very easily draw one. So just because it's not drawn doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And the last one, another name for ray SP, the only possible answer choice, it must start at S. So I come up here, look at this line, S to P, the only other dot in the same direction as P is T, so ray ST. Then we go into these fill in the blanks. These are extremely important. You will see these questions on future tests. chapter 1 test or vocabulary test, but you must be able to fill in the blank. You want to memorize these. At the intersection of two lines, there is a point. At the intersection of two planes, there is a line. Remember, this is like if you looked at your ceiling and your wall, where they intersect is a line. Now, the intersection of a line and a plane looks like we have three different options. The first one we talked about yesterday is in picture A, where we had the paper with the pencil going through it. If we have that, then that line intersects that plane in a point. The next one, we have this plane. We have a line in the plane. And so we could have an intersection that way, where the line is inside the plane and intersects that way. This last one, we have a plane and a line that is drawn outside of the plane. You can think about this plane as being the ceiling, and this line we're going to draw from one wall to the other wall. That line is never going to touch the ceiling, so this would be a no intersection. These are the different possibilities of having an intersection with a line and a plane. Last page, we have this picture, and we're going to answer all these questions. So give two other names for plane K. Again, I have to write out the word plane each time. They're asking for plane K, so it has to be in what is drawn, and that's this white one, horizontal. And so I just need any three points that are not on the same line. So lots of possibilities. I could say plane A, G, M, or I could say plane B, M, A. Lots of different options there. Line AB and line MN intersect that point. Point G, not forgetting my notation. Points A, G, and what are collinear? So A, G, and B are all on the same line. Here, since they wrote points, I don't have to put the notation in front of that B. Ray GA and what are opposite rays? I know that the ray has to start at G, go the exact opposite direction. So GA, exact opposite, GB. The only possible answer. Plane K intersects plane GNC at, wherever two planes intersect, it's at a line. I always start at the front, go to the back. So I have line MN, or I could have named it line NM. This is everything that you will need to know for the 1.1 quiz in geometry.